What if I told you that Bitcoin is on the cusp of a supply shock and no one is talking about it? I'm going to break down the math that will give you the exact date of when I believe this will occur, and you're going to want to stay to the end of this video because the date will shock you. This isn't just another price prediction video. This is a deep dive into the major forces that are all colliding at the same time. By the end of this video, you'll see why the next big move in Bitcoin could be unlike anything we've ever seen before. Now, everyone knows about Bitcoin's fixed supply of 21 million, but everyone is missing the detail. River has this recent study that details how there's only 18.5 million Bitcoin available in circulation when you take into account the lost keys, the mismanagement, and a few other factors. Okay, now that this is out of the way, let's see how much Bitcoin is actually for sale from known sellers. Now, according to CoinGlass, there's about 2.25 million Bitcoin left on exchanges, and that is rapidly being depleted. But let's talk about where the big money gets their Bitcoin. OTC desk, or over the counter. This is where Bitcoin meets traditional finance. Now, OTC standard purchases are at least 50K, and they're usually not close to that 50K mark, meaning that there's some big money coming into Bitcoin. Now, the known OTC wallets have been rapidly being depleted. And according to this recent article, there's only about 155,000 Bitcoin left on these OTC desks. So we are at multi-year lows for Bitcoin held on centralized exchanges, and the lows keep getting lower, especially in the last 12 months. It's dropped off a cliff. Translation: if you want to buy serious amount of Bitcoin, you either have to move the market price up or you wait and hope someone sells it to you. This is the quiet part of the supply shock that most people don't see. It's like looking at the store shelf that looks stocked, but behind the scenes, the warehouse is empty. Now, let's start with the corporate treasuries because they are quietly becoming one of the biggest whales in the ocean and are the main players buying from these OTC desks. Companies like MicroStrategy set the tone by proving you can use your balance sheet to accumulate Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. And get this, MSTR now has nearly 630,000 Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and they've accumulated 60% of that since Trump has come into office. Well, it's been 8 months. But now it's not just one or two tech firms. We're seeing an entire wave of public and private companies moving Bitcoin into their corporate treasuries. Here's the crazy part. They're buying Bitcoin faster than it's being mined. So remember, only about 450 new Bitcoin are being mined per day. That's 164,250 per year. Now, because treasury demand is exceeding that, the only place to get those coins is from existing hodlers. And long-term hodlers, well, they're not selling. They're holding on tighter than ever. Now, we'll get into just how much these corporate treasuries are buying on a daily basis later on in this video, but this is creating a game of musical chairs, except the chairs are made of Bitcoin and the music is about to stop. Now, let's get into the ETFs. Now, when Bitcoin ETFs were approved in the United States, critics said that it's just paper Bitcoin. It won't matter. Well, it's mattering. ETFs like BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust and Fidelity's FBTC have seen consistent inflows week after week, even during price pullbacks. In fact, BlackRock's the fastest growing ETF in history, hitting 50 billion in assets under management in just 228 days. That is historic. Now, as of this recording, it's got just about 86 billion assets under management, making the IBIT Bitcoin ETF the fastest growing ETF in history. That means every dollar flowing into these ETFs is Bitcoin taken off the market and locked away. It's the equivalent of thousands of people DCAing in all at once, except it's billions of dollars at a time. And guess what? These ETF providers are competing with each other to accumulate faster, which only speeds up the supply crunch. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Governments. We've seen small examples before, like El Salvador making Bitcoin legal tender, the Kingdom of Bhutan quietly mining. But what's interesting is the rumors and the news surrounding the big players. Why, you might ask? Well, because they see the same thing that institutions do. A finite, programmable, incorruptible asset. In a world of debt monetization and currency debasement, this is the lifeboat. The United States recently created a strategic Bitcoin reserve, but they haven't bought any Bitcoin just yet. Keyword, yet. There's rumors the United States will revalue the gold kept in Fort Knox. And now, if this happens, that could unlock $860 billion, which could be used to buy Bitcoin. Now, who knows? The US does not have to disclose if they are buying. And there's rumors that Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Russia, China, the list goes on of countries potentially buying Bitcoin. Now, if even one of these G20 nations start buying Bitcoin for reserves, the psychological and price shock will be global. And when governments buy, they don't buy small. They buy billions at a time. That's when the supply shock turns into a full-blown supply crisis. Now, before I give you the exact date, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button and that like button if you're finding value in this content. On top of all of this, there's been a realization that Bitcoin is the most pristine collateral ever created. Yeah, created. So I've been looking for a solution to unlock all of your purchasing power, and I've found it. Salt lending. Salt has been in the game for nearly a decade, so they are a trusted partner and they have some of the lowest rates in the industry. And best of all, they don't rehypothecate, so you don't have to worry about anything crazy going on. So they're giving an exclusive offer to the watchers of this channel. If you guys go to saltlending.com/greencandle or the link down below, you can get 0.5% off the best rate that they can give you. And yeah, with all of this craziness going on, I forgot to mention retail. They're starting to wake up. For years, the mantra had been not your keys, not your coins. But in 2024 and now in 2025, we're seeing that message resonate like ever before. Cold wallet sales are up and self-custody tutorials are exploding on YouTube. And the data is showing that more Bitcoin is leaving exchanges than going in. When retail holders self-custody, the Bitcoin is effectively out of circulation. Well, until they decide otherwise. This means that there's less and less liquid supply available for these new buyers. And when demand spikes, the price doesn't just move, it erupts. So it's time for you to take the true power of Bitcoin and hold it in self-custody. There's plenty of options out there, but my favorite is Trezor and using a case from Crypto Steel. I've even got my Bitcoin only Trezor Safe 5 right here, and you could go to trezor.io/store and get yourself today. And if you use promo code GreenCandle, you'll get 5% off your entire order. Then don't back it up on paper. Back it up with a case from Crypto Steel. They're easy. They can stand up to 1 ton of pressure. And if you go to cryptosteel.com and use promo code GreenCandle, you'll get 10% off your entire order. So there's no excuse to get your Bitcoin off an exchange. So do it now before it's too late. Comment below if you want me to do a tutorial on how to do this or if you have any questions about self-custody. So to recap all of this bullish news, corporate treasuries are buying faster than new Bitcoin is created. Exchanges and OTC desks are at record lows. ETFs keep locking away massive amounts of Bitcoin. Governments are now sniffing around for their first big Bitcoin buys. And retail continues to take Bitcoin off of exchanges in droves. All 5 of these forces are converging right now. This isn't just another cycle. This could be the moment we see the first true Bitcoin supply shock, where price doesn't just go up steadily, it rips. So let's look at the total buying throughout this year. Public companies have bought somewhere between 234,000 to 246,000 Bitcoin this year alone. But we'll take the lower bound for the sake of this video. So there's 133,200 Bitcoin mined so far this year. So for the 155K left on exchanges, it would take about 260 days for these treasury companies alone to buy all the Bitcoin left on OTC desks. Now, if you add the average of about 23 Bitcoin purchased by the ETFs on a daily basis, we're looking to get to that 155K left on OTC desk wiped out in 250 days. That'll leave us in a pretty hairy position come April 19th of 2026. It'll cause a wild bank run and retail will be rushing to get Bitcoin off exchanges. Then who knows? This could accelerate, and I'm just using conservative numbers. The question is, are you ready for when this happens? If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure you're hitting that like button and that subscribe button for more content like this. And drop a comment with your price prediction you think for this bull run. What's the price of Bitcoin going to be after this supply shock plays out? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button and that like button if you're finding value in this content.